Вітаю всіх. Hello, everyone. My name is Anastasia Manulak. I'm part of Zapravka Initiative and also head of visual arts at Ukrainian Institute. And I will be chairing the event today jointly with my colleagues. Thank you for being with us, for finding time and joining this meeting. This is the second event that Zapravka Initiative is organizing jointly with Res Artis platform, and we are very happy for this opportunity and this cooperation. The aim of the Zapravka Initiative is to promote Ukrainian artistic residencies and increase their visibility internationally. So for us, it's very important to share the experiences of Ukrainian artistic residencies and artists in the residencies, especially in the wartime after the full-scale invasion of Russia to Ukraine. Zapravka is an initiative that was established in 2020 by three institutions, Ukrainian Institute, Ukrainian Cultural Foundation, and House of Europe program. The aim of Zapravka, as I said, is to enhance collaborations and visibility of Ukrainian artistic residencies. I will also say a couple of technical rules. Some of the participants are based in Ukraine, so if there is an air alarm, feel free to leave the meeting and take care of your safety. Myself and my colleagues, we will stay online and continue the meeting. But if you feel like you want to stop the meeting and take care of your safety, please prioritize safety first. This meeting is recorded and you will be able to watch it and share it with your colleagues afterwards. I will now pass the floor to the representative of Res Artis platform. And Res Artis platform is one of the biggest international platforms that includes more than 650 participants from more than 80 countries. Jamison Pierce, the membership coordinator of Res Artis, I give the floor and the mic to you to say hello to the participants.
Thank you, Anastasia. Yes, hello everyone. My name is Jamison. I'm the memberships coordinator at Res Artis. I'm calling from Wurundjeri country in Melbourne, Australia. And for anyone who doesn't know, as Anastasia has just said, Res Artis is a member network with around 650 members, mostly art residencies that operate in 80 countries around the world. We're the peak professional body for the field, endeavoring to ensure sustainability and growth by providing capacity building tools and networking opportunities for our members to connect face-to-face and online. Our main face-to-face meeting is our annual conference, which, as you may know, was to be held in Kyiv in 2022, but never took place. And so following on from this meeting last year, How to Inhabit Instability, it's a pleasure to join you once more, representing Res Artis, and this time focusing on the artist's perspective. After the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Res Artis, along with other organizations, endeavored to help by reaching out to our network, creating and sharing resources such as lists of emergency residencies in Europe for Ukrainian artists to access. That is for those artists who wish to leave. There's still an urgent need for work like this and organization like this, not just in Europe, but in many other locations around the world. Of course, I'm thinking about the Middle East. And in my role at Res Artis, I receive many emails from artists who are experiencing war and persecution and looking for ways to leave. And that's why Res Artis must continue to do what we can, facilitating connections and opportunities for artists at risk. However, there are obviously limits to what we can do. And that is why I think it is so important that we're hearing from these artists today who, as I understand, have chosen not to leave, but to stay in or even come to areas of acute instability. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing from you, hearing your perspectives, and I hope that this session, which we will share throughout our network, will be of assistance and inspiration to artists, not just in Ukraine, not just in Europe, but around the world who may be experiencing similar situations. So thank you to the team at Zapravka for organizing and for inviting Res Artis to be present again. Back to you, Anastasia.
Thank you, Jameson. Thank you for this opportunity and for our ongoing cooperation with Res Artists. It's also very important for us to have this possibility to speak out internationally. The first meeting that held last year was dedicated to artistic residencies, and the hosts of Ukrainian residencies shared their experiences of continuing working as residency in different formats. So we had the residencies that relocated, that kept going, that changed their format. For us, it's important to document and to archive these experiences and also to share them with our international colleagues, because as you, Jameson, just rightly said, that it's important to have this possibility and to show this extreme vital importance of artistic residencies, even in the times of war and other crisis situations. At the beginning of full-scale invasion, artistic residences became the first shelters and the first spots that hosted not only artists, but also a wider communities and formed new communities and new ways of cooperation. So for us, it's also important to share these very personal stories of artists that were in the artistic residencies or still are. And therefore, the second meeting, we decided to give the floor to the artists and to the artists both from Ukraine and international artists who have the experience of artistic residences in Ukraine after the full-scale invasion. It's important for us to mark this period because we understand that there are a lot of questions and challenges, and a lot of international partners and colleagues don't really understand what it is and what it means to continue doing art and to continue working in Ukraine in this time. So for us, it's also important to have different perspectives and different views on how it is. And that's why I will not keep more talking, and I will give the floor to our wonderful speakers. And the first speaker is Alexandra Bondarev. Alexandra is a Vilnius-born traveler, photographer, poetess, translator, and language editor in the cultural field. Her artistic practice is rooted in anthropological approach to humanistic documentary centered on the human and unexoticized cultural sites and reveal timeless values. She's interested in specific lifestyles as a part of the creative process. In 2024, Alexander received Roman Aldas Rakauskas. Alexandra, you will say it's correct if I'm wrong. Photography award, and completed an artistic residency at the Gem Factory Art Center in Lviv, Ukraine. Alexandra, please say a couple of words about your experience. We are very interested to hear about it.
Hi, everyone. It's really an honor to start this panel. But also I have no example or role model of how this should go. So I will just be honest as much as I can. I haven't prepared any slides. I'm just gonna tell you about my experience. So yeah, I participated in an artistic residency at Jam Factory in Lviv last year in September. And it all kind of began, I mean, actually, I should start with saying that I would probably have not come up with an idea to go to an art residency in a country that is experiencing a full-scale invasion by myself. But it all kind of started with me finding out at the age of 30 that my biological father was actually born in Lviv, and kind of that I have Ukrainian roots myself, which was a massive identity shift for me. And it all kind of led to the Lithuanian cultural attaché in Ukraine inviting me to participate in the residency. And I had a lot of doubts, honestly, and I can imagine that all international artists do before they make this decision. But I really spoke to a lot of people who had been in Lviv during already the full-scale invasion in the last 3.5 years. And honestly, most people told me, relax, it's in the West, like nothing really happens there. Just go, it's going to be amazing. What an experience, just go. And yeah, I decided to go. But honestly, the very beginning of my stay was very, very turbulent because I arrived in the morning of September 3rd. And for those who don't know, September 4th was probably the deadliest shelling in Lviv during this whole time. So this was my first night. And when I just arrived, I met the girl who worked at Gem Factory and was kind of responsible for our, I don't know, coordination and curation of our residency. And I was just talking to her, being like, okay, so tell me about Lviv. I just arrived. It's early in the morning. Tell me how is the city? And she was like, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. Lviv is super boring. It's nothing like Kiev. It's like everyone's just having coffee, eating, and chatting, and that's all. And so my first kind of expectation, what that was set upon me was, okay, so I'm gonna be bored. Honestly, it was nothing but boring for sure. And so, yeah, the first night was actually very scary because I didn't entirely know how to act when the air alarm started in the middle of the night. And because the actual residency hadn't even started yet. So we hadn't had like a proper, institutional, in like a proper briefing of how to act within an institutional framework. And I was lucky. I mean, when it started, the streets were empty and nobody was out, and I didn't really know what was going on. And this was, I think, the main first shocker for me, to realize that most people actually don't really react to air alarms. And later, I mean, I learned that it doesn't necessarily mean that you're in danger instantly. But it took me some time to realize that. Luckily, I ran into one man on the street who took me to a hostel, which had kind of a shelter. And I was there alone until I heard the explosion. And then after the explosion, the whole hostel came to the shelter. So the very beginning was really disturbing. And then the next days, there was actually another girl at the residency, a German person. And we met, and we were both kind of really shocked because we were not expecting it like to happen on the very first night. And then we read the news, and yeah. And this, I guess, kind of the very beginning really influenced the whole, emotional kind of state. And it was really also for the next few days, a couple of times the air alarm went off during the day, and people would just like continue eating their pizza or having their coffee. And this was really like, I don't know, mind blowing for me, honestly. And later on, I realized that, yeah, first of all, you just check the apps. And second of all, is just you cannot really do it when it's like 3 years in. And it kind of, yeah, really changed my perspective on how much and how quickly people can adapt to different circumstances. Sorry, this introduction is very long. I'm going to be quicker. So actually what happened is that the German girl left after 3 days because she realized she couldn't do it. And I hadn't slept for 3 nights, so I decided to leave as well. And when I came back to Vilnius, after 2 nights of proper sleep, I was like, no, actually, I have to come back. I don't know. It was just a very strong feeling that I had to come back, and I did. And then I ended up staying in Ukraine for 3 months. Because after my residency lasted for 1 month, but then I just stayed in the country because I really got involved into multiple things, and I just really felt like this was very meaningful. So basically, the residency itself was giving a lot of freedom for us to, because another another resident came later, so it was two of us. A lot of freedom to just do our own practice, which I will talk about a bit later. But they really what really benefited me the most was the connections that they helped us build. They introduced us to multiple institutions to which I ended up going nearly every day. The main ones were the Center for Urban History and Index, the Institute for Documentation and Exchange. And since I do documentary myself, I was kind of really, on the spot. And they were organizing lectures and discussions every day, and there was a lot of action in the art center itself. So really, it struck me how the cultural world was and continues to flourish completely. And I guess that people who have not been to Ukraine during the full-scale invasion might have this distorted idea that life has stopped. And I mean, yes, there are so many difficulties, but it feels like to some extent people are trying, even to, like, people who have decided to stay in the country are trying to resist everything by just continuing with like full power to do the things that actually matter to them. And speaking of my own practice, this was kind of what I was documenting. I do mostly analog photography, and I think that this is really what this feeling wise, the strongest experience that I had was seeing how to some extent, like practicing normality, I guess, or practicing normal life and continuing, doing your art, doing your work, and going to bars, having a beer with your friends, um, regardless of the whole situation, is actually a really strong act of resistance. And this was kind of what I was focusing on, documenting these, normal, ordinary life moments of, also, I don't know, kids playing on the street, people going to church, and all these kind of things. Because for now, I feel that when people speak about Ukraine, they would mostly talk about war crimes and all the terrible things that are happening, which is, of course, very real. And it has to, I myself do a lot of raising awareness all the time. However, I also wanted to show that there is this whole beautiful flourishing life going on as well. And this is why I think I personally got so much from it, and my practice also changed a bit, moving to more like social and human rights things. I went to Georgia after Ukraine to document the protests that started in November. So I see that my time is over.
Yes, yes. But you'll have the possibility also to expand more during Q&A session. And to everyone who is listening to us here, please ask your questions. You may ask your questions in the meanwhile, because I understand that there is a lot to reflect on while our speakers are sharing their experiences. And we will have a separate time for Q&A. So please, Alexandra and everyone else, stay with us so that we could continue during the Q&A. Thank you, Alexandra, very much. I will then pass the mic to Rolando. Rolando is a composer, researcher, and artist. His work had been presented and performed at various festivals, biennales, exhibitions worldwide. For over a decade, he's been developing the social science sculptures project, focusing in thinking curatorship as a form of art and pedagogy with projects such as Umbral, CCADDASM, and many others. Rolando was a resident and MC of 6 residency in Slavske, Lviv region. It's on the west part of Ukraine as a part of Ukrainian Institute's cooperation project. So I'm happy that my colleagues were involved in that. Rolando, the mic is yours. Please share your experience with us.
Well, thanks a lot, Anastasia. Thanks, everyone. I went to MC6 in Slavsko last November to do a cooperation project with the Ukrainian Institute. The project was called La tradición es aquello que atraviesa los poros del presente, which is can be translated in something like the tradition is what seeps through the pores of the present, or something like that. Um, and the project was around the construction of traditional instruments of Ukraine. I was working alongside Dmitro Beresyuk from he's from Lutsk, and it was really interesting to understand all the similitudes that were between yeah the two apparent distant geographies, but there were so many similitudes. Uh, we were with Dmitro talking about a lot about the Malanka and the relation with some other social and festive situations here in Mexico, such as calendas, which are like similar festive situations here in Mexico. And the project happened in two situations. The first one was me traveling to Ukraine to MC6 to construct the instruments and to understand a little bit more about the traditional music of Ukraine, the food, and the textiles, and well, to have the opportunity of being in Ukraine, which was really interesting and important. Yeah, because also in MC6 I was able to be around people who was uh, yeah, it was turned into an species of a refugee camp. So it was really important to have conversations, to have like the opportunity of sharing meals, and yeah, I always enjoy a lot these situations where you're like sharing food, and it was really important to be like uh, sharing things with a lot of people. Um, and the second part of the project, which was really nice, was to bring Dmitro to Mexico uh, to have the exhibition of all the instruments that we created, which were made with yeah, as traditional instruments from Ukraine, but they were also having some details from the region I'm from, the Mixtec region from Oaxaca. So it's like a mix of approaches to tradition. And we did a performance alongside different groups from Mexico to create a yeah, like an intertwined of musical traditions. If you look for the name of the project, you can find the performance that we did in the Scenic Pavilion of Chapultepec during the Art Week in Oaxaca, sorry, in Mexico City. Um, and yeah, it was, I can just like finish saying that it was really interesting because I was not looking to go to Ukraine, but it was really interesting that the project, I would say that it found me in a really interesting way. And it was really a really interesting opportunity and important opportunity uh, of looking close to uh, yeah, to understand that like the life is still going, and how important is to take care of immateriality in certain situations.
Thank you, Rolando, for sharing this very diverse experience. I will now pass the mic to Paul Machalowski. Paul is a German artist and curator born in Berlin. He lives and works in between Kiev and Ukraine and Dusseldorf in Germany. And Paul is an organizer of the residency at 22 Nahirna Street in Kiev. Paul, the floor is yours. You're muted. Please try to unmute.
Sorry, sorry. I have to say before I'm in a hospital and I'm on sedation right now. So I'll try my best, but I'm actually taking medication which totally numbs my brain. Yeah, I came to Ukraine the first time in 2016 privately for 3 months, and then I had a residency in 18 and 19 in Konstantinivka and Bakhmut. So all the experiences Alexandra talked about, there was no bombing then, but the air of war was already feelable. And then I had this Ukraine connection, and I thought about when the war started that probably no institution will do residencies. So I started to acquire money by Ministry of Culture and Goethe Institute and different institutions to start an wartime residency focused on. I studied with Peter Doig and with Jörg Immendorf. So I'm a classical painter from the painting market. So I thought I want to do a niche residency for artists who are painters to capture the war, in painting and in not political, not filmmaking, and not in text so much, but more create these relics with from myself being a painter working there, and also I brought about 20 other people to Ukraine to work there, sometimes in cooperation with Ukrainians, and sometimes just alone. The first year was just alone. So the theory was to do this niche thing, painting from the West, to work in a war zone which people would never, which the institutions wouldn't. Goethe Institute and a lot of people blocked these things. So I thought I want to create this niche thing and use this for my art. So my paintings are based on the experiences of the other artists working together. And Karina Sinica, for example, she works in the place I did this residency with. And I did this with Maxim Mazur, Yuri Bolsa, and the person who helped me was Dmitro Cherpurny, who connected me at the beginning with the people. And it's an ongoing experiment, and it's very risky to bring people to Kiev and have the responsibility for these people. And we were lucky. The residents actually hardly experienced any attacks, but I experienced a lot of attacks in 23, May, June. It was very bad, and now it's very bad again, I think. But some of the other people who I brought there, where they went to Odessa and they went to Kharkiv, but this was their private ventures. And I think, what a very interesting thing is to look back at your own society from Ukraine, because it's for me, it totally hooked me, because it's like a lot of decisions we made in the West. Ukraine comes from a different place, and they can also go a different place, yet it's still similar enough to. I find this very fascinating to look back at Germany from Ukraine, or to look from a country at war, at peace, and to think about how we are acting and how what we could do differently in the West is a lot of. And I think for every person that came to Ukraine, they're all continuing to do something. Like, I think 90% of the people do other projects now in Ukraine, and big projects too. And a lot of, I can send you website, or they can send you the websites later and the documentation. And there's the press interview I did about this subject too. And I did it myself. It's not very professional, but you can look at the general idea. And there's still time. Basically, I do I'm a sick artist. I can't work with oil, and I can't be like a studio painter. So in Ukraine, I paint outside. So I went to Kharkiv Oblast, for example, and where they're fighting now, and I just talk to people, do interviews and paint them, just do aquarelle interviews, paint the people and also the Germans, and make these little comics about fragments of what people think. And in this way, I wanted to create a sort of really just do, it's like a film in a way, but to fragments of what the Ukrainians are really saying, and what people in gen. I don't censor it at all. It's what people say, so it's a lot of different opinions. yeah, it's not the whole project I'm doing is not, it's not a propaganda project. It's supposed to create paintings and art, which is interesting on the long term. That's the idea.
Thank you.
It's,
Thank you, Paul.
mm,
Yeah, maybe you can also share, I don't know, 2 takeaways from your work and practice in Ukraine, something that
yeah,
changed you, your practice. I think that's also.
it completely changed my practice, and I think this, yeah, what I'm very interested in is this looking at our, like I live in Germany, and looking at this society, and I've been in Ukraine since 2016, so I do images about war since 2016, and I stopped doing that because when I did it in 2016 in Germany, like no one was doing it. Now in Ukraine, there's a lot of people who do it much better, and so I thought I want to be more a social kind of artist and paint outside, talk to people, and just be like a running painting camera, basically. This is this practice I created in Ukraine.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please stay
Mm-hmm.
with us. There
Mm-hmm.
might be some additional questions from our audience, and I will pass it to you. Thank you for finding this possibility to share your experience with us. And I will then pass the mic to the next speaker, Karina Senitsa. Karina is an artist born in Siversko-Donetsk, and she now lives and works in Kyiv. She studied painting at the Kharkiv Art School as well as the National Academy of Fine Arts and Architecture in Kyiv. In 2024, she held her personal exhibitions in Uzhhorod and Lublin. She works with painting, collage, and animation, and in her works, she depicts landscape, architectural structures, and empty spaces, revealing human feelings, emotions, states, and social aspects of life. Karina was a resident of Izolatia, platform for cultural initiatives, and I will say a couple of words about Izolatia, and I'm sure that Karina will share more. So Izolatia is a non-profit platform that was established in 2010 in Donetsk, in the east part of Ukraine, and in 2014 it was first initiated on the basis of the factory producing isolation materials. That's where the name actually comes from. And in 2014, Donetsk was occupied by Russians, and the space where this initiative first was became a prison for where a lot of Ukrainians and Ukrainian soldiers are still being kept. That's why Izolatia relocated to Kyiv, but the east of Ukraine and Donbass still remains in their main focus. They work with different formats, and Izolatia was one of the partners that stand behind the initiative of bringing Res Artis conference to Ukraine. So that's why we also have this long-lasting history of cooperation, and hopefully we will have the possibility to do it eventually in Kyiv in the same partnership consortium. Karina, I give the floor to you. If you need translation, let me know. I'll be happy to assist you with this.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anastasia. I will show some photos from the residency. It will be much better to talk about works and so on. Yes, as Anastasia said, I have worked with painting and different monumental techniques. And in this residency, which was held by Zalepsk, it was interesting to me how to work in such topic about ecology and so on. And the main point of this residency was to and collaborate with any scientist or institutions which worked with plants, maybe animals, something about ecology and so on. And we were just 3 participants there. Made little exhibition at the end of the residency, and each of us have what we want to do and what topic we want to describe and where we want to go. And I have chosen the topic of Ukrainian genetic plant
Karina, I'm sorry, the
and
connection is.
their genetic base.
Karina, do you hear me?
Yes.
The connection is not very stable, so maybe if you could stop sharing the screen for now, and we can
Yes,
then
I can hear you.
swipe photos afterwards.
Mhm.
Can
Okay.
you? Yeah, please continue now.
So I chose to work with the Plant Genetic Resource Center and talked with scientists who work there because the center was damaged by Russians in 2022, and a lot of different genetic base and seeds have been burned. And the people there are still working because they can't move to another cities because the seeds and these plants can grow only in this earth near Kharkiv and Kharkiv Oblast, and they still plant this and looking how it grows and do different experiments, and they show me they plant base and all of these seeds in different bottles, and they show me a few different buildings where they made these researches, and it was a really nice trip, and I have talked with many people who still there, and I decided to make one painting about about these plants and seeds, and also connected to the story about butterflies which were saved by one Ukrainian scientist during the World War II, because he moved to Germany with all his connection. And at this point, I wanted to talk more about archive and how to save this archive during the war, and different examples what was in our history, this plant institute, and this story about Shalushka, which have saved his butterflies. And I have made a painting which called Fairy Tale, where I describe like very maybe in a romantic way this story, and also I have made another one painting about water and this situation in Novakhovka which happened, and another two participants were going to another cities like Ivano-Frankivsk, and Yana Kononova goes to the river of Ros to made photographs about it and ecological situation about near this river and so on. So that's all.
Thank you. Maybe you can try to show the slides now.
Yes, I can.
Interesting that the connection didn't let us have
Yes,
both.
here is this plant genetic center which were destroyed near Kharkiv, and this is some photos which I have made in this institute. Is thinking a lot about safety after what happened there, so I can only plants. Here you can see the very old building there. And this is the final exhibition which we have in the Naked Room. And this is my work about Shalushka and
Yes, and unfortunately, we can't really hear you well, but we will collect the links to the projects that the speakers are mentioning in their topics and share it to everyone who registered. Yeah, Paul said that he has some links, so we will just make sure that you have this possibility to have a proper look at everything, because I'm sure that our guests really want to have a look at what you are talking about. Thank you very much, Karina. I want to kindly remind you that if you have questions, you can write them down in the chat on YouTube translation that we are having right now. We will have a separate part for Q&A very soon. And I'm now happy to give the mic to our last speaker for today, Lilia Petrova. Lilia is an artist and teacher. She is the graduate of the Department of Graphics at Kharkiv State Academy of Design and Arts, and she studied at the Academy of Opishne in Poltava region. She works with graphics, comics, sculpture, and ceramics, studies folk art practices, explores approaches to alternative art education, and teaches. The main theme of her art is absurdity of existence. She was participant of the exhibition projects at Yermilov Center in Kharkiv, Jam Factory Art Center in Lviv, Znaki Chasu in Torun, Ukrainian Folks House in Przemysl, as well as many other places and residencies in Ukraine, Austria, and Poland. Lilia was a resident of Art Kuzaman residency in the Sumy region, which is in the east part of Ukraine, and is still ongoing artistic residency, very active as an residency program. So Lilia, the floor is yours. Please share your experience with us.
Hi everyone. Thank you. I'm glad to be in here, and I have a little presentation. Hope connection will be good. So I'll try to share it. Just a second. Just a second. So can you see my screen?
Not yes.
And slides.
Great, it works.
So a little bit about me, about myself. I will say a little bit about Art Kuzaman. I was participant there in 2023, and the title of residency was Playing into the Future. That was a residency. Here a little bit about location of Kuzaman. Residency is located in Kuzaman village. It's not far away from Poltava region and Kharkiv region, and also it is in Sumy region, not far away from front line and border with Russia, but it's a safety place. And a little bit about story. The residency is young. It's like 4 years now, and it's begun in 2021 as idea was to decentralize contemporary art, to give floor for contemporary artists in a village. and to make connection with local people, and to give more possibilities to have dialogues with art and people from villages. In 2022, Art became more residency shelter for artists. And in 2023, there was title, as I said, Playing into the Future. Playing, it was about contemporary art and theater, puppet theater, and some trying to mix this arts together and to find out what could be if they meet in one residency. So I was one of the four participants, artists, and our curator was Konstantin Zorkin, artist from Kharkiv, who's have a big experience in theater, in puppet theater. So he was sharing with us his experience. And the process was very intensive, sometimes exhausting, because we have a lot of brainstorming. What should we do? What kind of story should we create? Because main idea was to give baton to theater workers. Firstly, we should find images and find ways of creating objects, and then give it to theater workers from Kharkiv Puppet Theater. So we have a lot of time together, made a lot of sketches and scripts, variants of scripts, what should we do, what steps will be next, and also we tried to find materials with which we should work in. And there was several materials. I tried to working with metal and made some ugly little creatures. And then I realized, and curator realized, that I have a story, comic book about little animals, about little creature who lives in the context of apocalypse. And we decided to took my story, which I created in a Gem Factory residency in 2022, and to bring it to life through theater. And I started to make some funny sketches and make some models, little models, how it could look, and how my little animals could look in puppet direction, dimension, and then I started to work with some trash, some stuff from residency and making my puppets, two-dimension puppets, like tables from tablets from demonstration, something like that, with mechanical parts also. So I created something around 10 puppets. And we have a lot of repetitions, and I was like mini director of my part of my story about little animals, and we gave our objects, our ideas to actors and director from Kharkiv Puppet Theater, Oksana Dmitrieva. And that was very stressful for me because it was extremely new experience, like to give my own story, my child to other people, to make something new with it. And here is our stage. There was very damaged building near residency, and we created there very interesting art house stage. So some stuff, some objects, repetitions. This is our. There was our actors, and here is my repetition. I was a reader of my story while performance. Was presentation of performance, and I reading my little tiny book and actors behind me showing the story. So this is a screenshot from our presentation, and there was a lot of guests from Kuzemen and neighbor villages, and I was very surprised that people was so impressed because of our performance. And for me, that was very sincerely moment, and I appreciate it so. And also we have a lot of working with fire, a lot of reflection about evil and good, and versus of evil and good. And we decided that we need to make a bright final scene. So we that was our thinking about the future. And
Thank
here
you.
is yeah.
We are out of time. Sorry.
Okay,
It's very interesting,
that's
but you have to, yeah.
slide. Thank you very much for
Thank
attention.
you. Thank you. You make us want to join this residency with all of these
Oh,
photographs.
I will join it soon. We'll come back to Art Kuzemen.
Great, thank you. We have questions. We have a question from Tiana Stepanovic from Dutch Culture. Thank you, Tiana, for watching us. So Tiana is asking, what do Ukrainian residencies offer and what do you need from them that is different from residencies in regions not affected by war? I will open the mic to whoever from our speakers want to answer to this question from different perspectives, from perspectives of Ukrainians, from perspectives of international artists. Please respond. So what do you need from Ukrainian residencies other than from other residencies not affected by war? No, no one? Then maybe
I can talk.
yes,
I
please,
think
please do so.
Yeah, some Western artists have like luxury expectations or expectations of organizations, and in Ukraine everything is, because of the war, I think more spontaneous and fast. And you, like some people in my residency, we had a show at M17 Art Center where we took part, and they wanted a drill, and they said the museum has to give us this and has to give us this, and this is not possible because there's no budget in a lot of Ukrainian institutions right now, I think. And you have to be ready you have to know what you're doing psychologically. I think you have to talk to your family and friends really about it. You want to do it. It's statistically not very dangerous in some parts of Ukraine, but still you shouldn't take it lightly, and you should think about it really and take a conscious decision.
Thank you. Thank you. Alexandra, yes, please go ahead.
I would maybe also like to add the fact that during my time, I really felt so much gratitude, both from coming from me and from other people. Somehow, I think that is just very important to go to Ukraine now and just be with everyone who is there. That's it. Just show support by actually being there, as blunt as that.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this sincere answer. And we have a question to Ukrainian artists, more probably, but also if Alexandra, Paul, Rolando, you want to share, go ahead. So what do Ukrainian artists and cultural workers need from international community at this time? Yeah, there is a comment that I know this is a very common question, but I keep asking it. So Lilia, Karina, if you want to share this.
I think the main problem sometimes is that people could think about Ukraine like about a place of disaster, only like about sad place, but I think it's very important to understand that Ukraine is still very intelligent, full of intelligent people, place, full of beauty, full of sense of humor also, and just to be in touch with Ukrainian artists, people from Ukraine, like to have conversations with people about life, about ordinary questions also. So I think not only disaster in Ukraine, it's like the main point.
Thank you. Thank you, Lilia. Karina, do you want to add something?
I think that I agree with Lilia, and let's only think about ordinary human things like understanding and kindness, and not see this only exotical country in war, like something, and see humans here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have a question from Daria, who joined late. There will be a recording of this meeting, so you'll be able to rewatch it. And we will also send the additional materials mentioned by the speakers to you in the mailing, so you will have all of the information. Thank you for asking this. And also in response to the last question about what can international community do for Ukrainian cultural community, we have a representative of House of Europe program here with us, Volodymyr Volek. House of Europe program is very active in Ukraine in terms of enhancing cultural community and artistic community. House of Europe is one of the institutions established as a Zapravka Initiative. So Volodymyr, if you could say a couple of words about House of Europe program, residency programs, your plans and the challenges that you face, that would be fantastic. So the mic is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, first of all, Anastasia, for this wonderful moderation and keeping with all of the challenges that are possible now. Secondly, thank you so much for all of the residents who keep being strong and courageous, daring for residences in Ukraine. It is really very different from various perspectives. But thank you so much that you um, like that you showcase your experience in Ukraine. It is very important for us. And in response, for example, to our previous speaker about the budget, for example, as Paul told about the availability of budgets for having residencies or something like that, and all of the materials for residencies. We have our residency program, which is some kind of mostly an experiment, doing that together with the cultural institutes, the EU countries' cultural institutes operating in Ukraine, like our Goethe Institute, which implements the House of Europe program, like British Council, French Institute, or, for example, Lithuanian Culture Institute, as was mentioned today by Tomas Ivanauskas, I guess, and others. So for that, we have our program, the so-called National Minorities Residences Grants in cooperation with the Ukrainian. I post the links here in this chat. I don't know if it is necessary to post them via YouTube.
We will share it additionally
Okay,
because this
great.
chat is not available to those who watch us on YouTube.
I see.
But you
Okay,
will.
thank you so much. So the key figures, the residencies are possible in cooperation with one of the 14 cultural institutes operating in Ukraine, and one NGO, for example, Izolatia has been mentioned in this meeting. On the basis of the cooperation agreement, you can send the artists for residences either in EU. For the residency in EU, you get up to 10,000 euros for a residency, and if sending the artists to Ukraine, up to 6,000 euros for a residency. And if you organize it both, so reciprocal approach, both in EU and Ukraine, so it is possible to receive up to 16,000 euros. About the national minorities aspect, so in this case, you can either, so we operate around the Ukrainian legislation. So so you can either choose an artist who is a representative of national communities in Ukraine, like Crimean Tatars or Gagauz or other minorities, or you can work on the topics connected to minorities. For example, represented those topics in theater, in music, in paintings, or others. So if you have any questions, any additional questions, you can ask them now, or write us at Volodymyr Volek at houseofeurope.org.ua. And the deadline, the most important point, the last deadline ended yesterday, and we have still 1 month to apply for residencies. And the last deadline within this program will be on the 31st of July this year. So welcome and invite Ukrainian cultural scene and the EU cultural institutes to collaborate. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Volodymyr, for very useful information. I also see that we have networking happening in the chat on YouTube. So there is a Swedish residency that is interested in collaborate. So if you're interested, please let us know. We can be also, what Zapravka usually does is also facilitate connections in between international partners and Ukrainian artistic residencies. So we do constant monitoring of the residential landscape in Ukraine to understand the needs and the current state of what is there in Ukrainian artistic residencies. We monitor a map of Ukrainian artistic residencies since 2020. So there are residencies that are not operating anymore, that the new ones that opened after the full-scale invasion. This is also something that is happening in Ukraine right now. So for us, it's important to understand how the dynamics of the residential landscape and to document it. We also created a toolkit for those who want to establish or successfully run their artistic residency. It's now available in Ukrainian, but we plan to translate it in English very soon. So stay tuned, and because we think that the experience of Ukrainian residences might be a relevant experience also for our international partners. And we first initially thought to only produce it in Ukrainian, but after our international colleagues started reading it through AI translation, we understood that there is a need and interest to have it also in English. So we'll be happy to share it pretty soon with you as well. The Zapravka Initiative can be found on Facebook. It's the platform that we actually mostly operate. We have pretty responsive. We also are pretty responsive on Gmail, so you can reach out to us on email if you're interested, and we are happy to connect you to wider Ukrainian residencies, artists, art scenes. So let us know if you're interested in cooperation. And we have a couple of other questions. So the question, I understand, mostly to international speakers. What is your impression about Ukrainian art life during the wartime? Alexandra, Rolando, Paul, do you want to share your thoughts?
Yeah, sure, I can speak. So I already kind of mentioned, I think, during my talk that I found the art scene really flourishing in multiple senses, very super active, very inspiring, and it was interesting to observe how, of course, multiple artists are now focusing on topics related to war, but it also felt really great that so many artists just continue doing their own research on other topics, or like really, as I said again, resisting the repression by talking about everything that is not war, because that is actually also very important, and social issues continue, human rights issues continue beyond, war, also internally. And I think that's, yeah, really important and very, very inspiring art field, actually. I was really impressed.
Thank you, Alexandra. Anyone else wants to add?
Yeah,
Paul?
yeah, I think so. I didn't notice I'm speaking to an audience which doesn't know these basic things, but I think the Ukrainian art scene is, if I know the Western art scene pretty well, and the Ukrainian art scene is for me much more alive and there's more depth to the art, and not only in war things, but it feels like the work of Ukrainian art really has a core to it, no? And in the West, I think there's a meaninglessness problem in a lot of the art market, because it's just a market where you speculate or you aim for a bourgeois existence. And in Ukraine, I don't want to romanticize it too much, but it's a really active scene, and I think the international interest keeps it's good to bring international attention to it, because it keeps it alive. Because depression is also a big subject, I think, in Ukraine, in the art scene, because it's very hard on people, and bringing something from the outside is, I think, very good, but I can't speak for Ukrainians.
Thank you, Paul. I guess this was the last question that we could answer because the time flies. But I want to thank all of our wonderful speakers for your diverse, very different experiences and for being so open and sincere in sharing them. I want to thank Res Artis platform for this opportunity and this cooperation. It's truly very valuable for us to share this experience. The Ukrainian Cultural Foundation for helping us with technical support and arranging this screening and translation, and to House of Europe program, of course, for being with us and for sharing these very important opportunities and the deadlines. So we will share this with you as well. Thank you. The recording will be there with us. So please also share it with your colleagues who will think that it might be relevant. And we hope that this is not the last event and that we will continue these series of events and sharing the experiences of Ukrainian artistic residencies and hopefully result in bringing Res Artis conference to Kyiv at some point. So thank you. If someone from the partners want to say a couple of words, we have a couple of minutes for this. Indamola, yes, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Oyenda, I'm the chair of Res Artist, and I just want to really congratulate you all for your resilience. I think what we've seen over the last couple of years is, art is such a powerful tool, and more so in the face of all the violence that we're witnessing at such grand scale. I loved what I think it was Alexandra that said that art making is happening not only in response to the war, but also life is also still happening for many people. And sometimes art doesn't have to focus on, the grand challenges, but sometimes it's about the little day-to-day challenges that we're all facing. And it's really exciting that the residencies are still places for knowledge sharing, for relationship building, for really trying to resolve issues or discuss issues. And yeah, of course, it's our prayer that the war ends very, very soon. And I love Anastasia saying that hopefully we get this conference to you in Ukraine.
Thank you, Oindamola, very much. It's an honor to have you with us today. So I wish everyone a safe day. And I hope that we will see you soon. And of course, we will share the materials and the recording with everyone who registered. So stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I guess, are we still live? We're still online? Okay, so we can, okay.